and have the opportunity to serve Hendry County. Thank you for all of our employees that we appreciate so much. Thank you for the citizens of Hendry County. And Father, we just pray tonight as we make decisions that be best for our county. Again, we pray for our military. Keep them from harm's way and be with their families back home. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
This is a regular meeting of Hendry County Board of County Commissioners being held on Tuesday, March 23rd, 2021 at 5 p.m. in the County Commission Chambers in LaBelle, Florida. In attendance are Chairman Mitchell Wills, Vice Chair Emma Byrd, Commissioner Gerald Harris, Commissioner Raymond Iglesias, Commissioner Carson Turner, County Administrator Jennifer Davis, County Attorney Mark Lapp, Clerk Kimberly Meredith.
Ma'am. Nothing under business tonight. The consent, we are pulling C1 and C2.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the balance of consent as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. C1 for discussion.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, I just wanted to confirm with our administrator. Have we reached out? I read the resolution. I'm good with it. I know y'all had other items in there other than the public facility. Have we contacted both superintendents? Are they on board? We will have a discussion about that as well.
We're only going to do the public safety facility.
Okay.
So, so with saying that at the last joint meeting, there was some discussion about superintendents. That meeting, from our perspective, was never intended to dive into the school.
Okay.
For the superintendent. That was just merely letting Glades County, from their perspective, their facility, letting you all know what was or was not going on. I have the feeling that if that was discussion, that could happen all by itself, if that's a huge discussion.
So you want, if I'm understanding you correctly,
Yeah.
let's try to tidy up
Yeah.
the public facilities discussion, and let's don't even have anything else really on the agenda unless it's incidental stuff, but let's keep that educational component as a separate item onto itself.
If that pleases the board, that was.
I'm good with it. If that's your game plan, I'm good. I'd love to know what y'all think.
I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. And I'll make a motion to approve item C1 as presented.
I'll second. Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Iglesias. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. C2.
Jennifer, I was going to call you. The software cost in the write-up versus what the details are. You saw there's a discrepancy. Was all taken care of on that? And then I've also been asking, and I don't know if this would be a good method of how we get there, but obviously the clerk, green screen, all that stuff. I just wanted to touch base and see what y'all are thinking and how that's moving forward.
Absolutely. So we met because of this discussion. We met because of this discussion with the clerk and with Steve, and they viewed the example, if you will. It will tie into our current software, but it also has the capability of tying into a future software if we choose to do something different. They have been exploring other software packages. Even just before the meeting, the clerk shared with me some other software packages that they were looking at. But even with that, we feel that this software will complement whatever it is we do.
Are they able to also take advantage of these CARES Act dollars and possibly make that upgrade?
So that's what we just talked about. So the email I sent out to you all with some additional dollars that are coming forward. We are going to be internally from a department executive and department head bringing a recommendation to you. We're rolling in the constitutionals with that as well. And that's exactly what we just said. I said this is a perfect example of something that we could potentially, with your approval, it'll be all brought back to you to utilize those to upgrade our system.
So after you buy it, is there a yearly fee?
There is a yearly maintenance fee on it, yes, sir.
Do you have a sound price?
Yes, and it is in here.
3%, 10,000 or 17.
10,000.
There was three different prices.
There was
27 something,
Yeah.
right?
It's $27,000 a year.
23.
23 a year.
Plus 10.
Thank you.
And that was comparable. We got quotes, and this was the lowest quote of all of the different ones that we looked at.
That's a good deal.
Mr. Chair, the only thing I would say is that I don't know how time sensitive it is. Obviously, the clerk's office has been operating on green screen for a little while, DOS 286. But I think that I'd love to see our facilities get off of the Oregon Trail Apple IIe, and I don't think that we need to have this where it's coming back to our level of the discussion. You're in your seat for a reason. You're elected by the constituents of Hendry County. I don't think y'all are going to go out and grossly spend dollars unless this statutorily has to come back for our approval, which maybe it does. Then by all means, put it in there and let's move it forward like we're doing. But I just, I don't like sitting on this and having this to where we're the overseers of everything. It doesn't make sense to me. So, I think that we should give y'all the green light to pull the trigger and make this occur. Mr. Chair, I'd love to know your thoughts on that.
No, I agree.
The board's thoughts.
If this is something we need to make a motion to allow this, I would see that maybe because of the dollar amount. I know there's a dollar amount the administrator has that capability to pull the trigger on. Maybe we could just take this one item and move forward with it.
So this item is just the budget, so I recommend you approve this tonight, and I believe you're talking about the overall accounting system.
Yes, ma'am. This is the definition of day-to-day to me. You know what I mean? And so I'd love to know why we disagree with that as a board and why we need to weigh in on that, Ms. Davis.
Based on the procurement policy, though, I think the dollar level is going to trigger your.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Chair, I approve the item as presented. I don't know what council has to say or anything.
I was just going to say that it's, with over 25,000, it has to be bid under your procurement policy. I imagine it's going to be very pricey. I don't know.
There's going to be deep into six figures, I would assume.
Yeah. So,
And we're the overseer of all budgets as it relates to that. We don't approve 1/12 and then they can spend it how they do. When I say 1/12, I mean a monthly budget and they do what they want.
I think it would be a BOCC expense, not a clerk expense.
Okay.
And I believe that's what Commissioner is saying. Is why can we not okay that amount? And now they don't have to wait on us to go to a meeting to move forward with this.
Well, I don't think we have the exact amount.
We don't have a fixed amount yet.
They've looked at a couple items and they have some estimates, but I do not think they have an exact amount and probably are not ready to make a final decision on the software that they've looked at.
Mr. Chair, do it have to be bidded out? You don't have to be bidded out?
If it's over 25,000, it's supposed to be, unless you waive that. So.
No, I'm sure that they're looking at multiple vendors, so, they're going to agree on that decision. So, Mr. Chair, I've made the motion to approve, and I appreciate the conversation with everybody.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Iglesias. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First thing on our public hearings tonight, petition number RZ 200011.
If there's no discussion, I'll make a motion to approve R0-0011.
Second the motion.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Turner. This is a hearing of the public. If anyone of the public would like to speak to this now, if you would come forward.
What are you doing down on your knees?
Is there any further discussion from the board?
That's not for this one. That, you had somebody that wanted to speak.
No, that's for something else. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Evans.
Yeah, good job.
Nice job, Mike. She had a week vacation.
Mr. Cheney, we got the,
Mr. Chair,
yes, sir.
that last one, the client was represented by Mr. Bennett.
Correct.
I just want to point out, he tried to sneak a pocket knife into the courthouse tonight. So,
Oh,
just saying.
I wanted a chance.
Gotta watch.
Sure.
Gotta watch.
Okay, it's gonna bring us to B, B. Yeah, B, I'm looking on the right page, amendments to the cemetery ordinance. Who's presenting that?
Yeah, I'm presenting that. So, in the January meeting, I presented to you the idea that we needed to do some amendments to the ordinance because we were having some issues with the limited number of operators within the cemeteries who weren't doing things very well, and staff were concerned about safety and et cetera. So, and we really didn't have in our current ordinance any kind of enforcement mechanism. It's just like it has these rules, but what happens if they don't comply? So, this amendment was mainly to clean up our ordinance to say that every funeral home and every contractor who does monuments in the cemeteries has to be registered with us. And then if they violate the rules, their registration can be suspended or revoked by the administrator, but they can appeal that to you and get in front of you to have that heard.
Mr. Chair, more what you just said, if they violated, is that the owner of said property in the cemetery, or are you talking about the people that are actually performing the operation of burial and all of that?
The businesses,
Okay,
the
so
funeral
the
homes,
businesses that are,
funeral homes and monument installers.
okay.
So, if they violate, then they can have their privileges suspended or revoked by the administrator, or appeal it to you if they want. But then, as long as they're suspended or revoked, they can't do operations in the cemetery. And so that way, we can say no more burials or no more monuments for you until you come into compliance. And then, if they continue to persist, we could ultimately go to court and have an injunction entered against them to say, you shall not do work in our cemetery. Now, hopefully it wouldn't get to that because, we'd be stopping their activities for a time and they would want to get things right with us. So hopefully it all worked out, but we really didn't have that. We had only idle threats up until now where we just say, please comply, and so that was the main change. But since we were diving into the ordinance, I figured I'd clean up some things I was wanting to see done, and then I also provided the ordinance to the 3 entities that operate in Hendry, who have their business in Hendry. That would be Aiken Davis, Campbell Funeral Home, and there's a monument installer, Kim Ross. I don't know the name of the business, but it's her monument.
General Memorials, so there's actually several more. There's Buxton out of Okeechobee.
Well, I'm talking about who are located in Hendry County is what I focused on.
We have quite a few that come here and do work. So.
But I'm talking about for seeking comments. I figured I'd seek comments from the Hendry operators. So I sought it from those 3 and got comments back from Aiken Davis on what I had written, but also they had some other miscellaneous changes they wanted to see made. So I tried to make those to the extent, it makes sense. So they're all kind of in the bullet list there in the memo. I could read them all to you, but you've seen it. So unless you have any questions, I ask that you conduct a public hearing and adopt the ordinance.
Okay.
I move to adopt number 1.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Glacy. This is also a hearing of the public. Does anyone in the public like to speak to this at this time?
Fred Bosey for the record. Does that mean that no outside companies can come in with a monument?
No, it doesn't mean that. They can still register and do work. The only thing I was limiting to the Hendry people was I saw comments on the draft ordinance from only the Hendry-based businesses. I didn't see comments from the outside ones, but they can still get a registration and they can still do work even if they're outside.
Okay, because I know that there is a lot of monuments
Right.
in from outside.
Right.
They just register like a work permit or.
Yeah, it's just a paper they file with the engineering office and then they're registered. I mean, we certain basic information about them and they do have to provide proof of insurance. So if they do cause damage, and we're an additional insured and we can make a claim if they damage something.
That's pretty much. Anyone else in the public like to speak to that? Any questions or comments on the board?
Yes, sir. So going through the write-up, like on page 7, Mark, you have F, funeral establishments. Obviously, that's an addition, right? That's a new addition.
Yeah.
But go to G, except for perimeter coping of marble, granite, or poured concrete, no more than 6 inches high. No enclosure of any kind, such as a fence, coping hedge, or ditch, shall be permitted on any burial lot. All right, I want to stop right there. Is that note being said to the contractors, or is that being said to the Turner and Timken family who have multiple lots out there? I'm using that specific for me, but I want to, fill in any name.
1996, this was approved by the board. There would be nothing installed. This was concrete, granite, or marble, and it would be done by a contractor if it was that.
And Mr. Chair, you would acknowledge that that's not the way it is today.
Well, that's the reason we're looking at this. In the same issue, there's quite a few issues here that have been addressed and changed, and one of those is, once the families put them in, county no longer has the right to go inside of that.
Because it's their property.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And we can mark it. After 30 days, we can remove it. But that of course adds a lot to the staff as well. But you get a lot of plastic fences. You get a lot of that. And even though you tell them, for 18 years, I met folks in the cemetery. We have a set of guidelines and rules, and I would go through that specifically. You cannot put anything in. But of course, within a month they're coming and you get it. Families want to put stuff out there. Headstones, you need to wait a year. If you don't, they're going to lean, they're going to tilt. And I'm sure you've had complaints about headstones leaning. Throughout the years, I know I've had people come to me with that.
And why doesn't
it fix it?
Why doesn't the county fix it?
Exactly. We're not in the headstone business. We damaged that headstone. Now we're liable for that headstone.
Yes,
So we always send them out to we said, talk to one of your monument companies, and when they're here doing the service, they usually correct that. But that's what a lot of this is cleaning up. Most of it you'll see is that coping. You'll see a little coping, concrete coping. You'll see a lot of the plastic fences, and then you'll see a lot of the little the little solar panel lights. And when that gets damaged by our weed eaters, of course, there you go again. So, but that's what this is addressing for everyone.
So, Mr. Chair, the reason why I bring it up is routinely the cemetery, which is arguably my most despised place on the planet, is the number one thing that I receive complaints about as a commissioner. And I understand it's a very passion-filled place because people's loved ones are buried there. But I want to know, I mean, I asked that question because right now, if Betty Lou Timken's grave, and I hope that God, my family's not offended that I'm using grandma as an example, but if her grave has, what's that white stuff that?
Lattice.
Lattice. I think it's created by the devil and it's used for so many things and I hate it. If lattice is lining grandma's grave perimeter, this says that the county right now has the right to go out there and take it out.
Well, since 1996, they have the right to do that anyhow.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is it's not happening today. They're not taking it out today.
Not as fast as we can get put back, I can tell you.
Okay.
From personal experience, we have to mark that for 30 days.
The hornet's nest that is fixing to ensue when staff decides to enforce what is in here. I'm not saying I disagree with what is in here. I'm saying get ready for some people to be heated. And what I want to know is we essentially have all of our I's dotted, our T's crossed, we think, to the best of our knowledge. You're telling me, sir, in your professional capacity as working for the county for a number of years, we had the right to do it anyway.
Since 1996.
And so what I'm telling you is that when you drive by Ridgelawn Cemetery at night right now,
The backside's lit up.
yeah, and
It's got a lot of issues.
yeah, and all the things that are out there, but I just go back to, I've tried to explain to so many people, it's correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Wills, and you would know this better than I would, but I'm pretty sure in what I've read, if you have one of the nice, I don't know what it's called, but the slate marble piece that's supposed to lay over essentially what your casket or your plot is. When St. Augustine covers that up, or one of those weeds covers it up, and they're mad at us being the county, but specifically Commissioner Turner for not having that clean, it's not our legal right to go in there and fix that, correct?
If there is a border around it. If that slate is there by itself, we're supposed to weed around that.
Yeah.
If there is a border in place, then the county cannot go inside that border.
Okay.
Unless it becomes an eyesore, which most of them do.
Yes, sir.
And then we have to mark it for 30 days. After you got to document when you mark it, timestamp it with a picture. After 30 days, you can remove, anything that's a violation, you can remove. We've always done that. We put it in the back of the building so the families can collect it. But if there is no border, yes, sir, we're supposed to weed around there.
Okay. Well, I just want to put it out there, that we're essentially trying to make it so we have a legitimate right to be in there and cleaning things, but we're also trying to give ourselves the tools to be able to address some of these issues that are in our cemeteries. And one other question I want to ask was, do we have a problem with some of our local performers not doing what they're supposed to do? Is that an issue?
It is.
Okay. And I mean, does it run the gamut of things?
And it can be a lot of things. Yesterday we've had everywhere from things being damaged, things being set improperly. They get in a hurry, they come in. If it's not marked right away, a lot of them go and set it, they'll just set it. Then the staff has to go back and mark it, they have to come back and change it. And the one portion in here, if you saw, I was talking about materials being left on site.
Yes, sir.
We have materials left on site. If those materials are damaged or stolen, they're gonna look at us to replace it. Or someone drives in there and hits it with their car. The county's liable, it's laying on our property. And that's most of the problems you see. Graves are being left open, they'll go in and dig the graves. They won't have a burial for 2 or 3 days. So, and all along, we've requested, don't do that till the day before. If you have to, for some reason, you just have to. You have two cemeteries, different cemeteries you're working in. Cover it with plywood and put markings around, which I see now has been placed in the ordinance. And hopefully now we'll have a leg to stand on, because yes, sir, a lot of that goes on. It really does.
That should never happen. We should not have an open grave without a cover over it. I can't dig a trench over 24 inches on any of my job sites without an act of Congress essentially and having it covered, bracketed, and this, that, and the other. So no, we can't do that. But all right, well,
I want to say something about the cemetery. So I've been dealing with Alan here recently, and what I'm noticing is people just want to decorate their tombstones, and I get it, right? You lost a loved one, and you want to put silk flowers out there, then it becomes 3 potted plants, so then it's a tree, and it just goes on and on. The problem is that when you buy the cemetery plot, they have you sign a document, has all these rules, and guess what? No one's going to read them. And then as time goes by, you start doing whatever you're doing to that cemetery plot. Now we're going to come in, and we do need to address it, because I'm telling you, that backside of the ridgeline is looking rough. So I hate to say it, we're either going to have to send letters out, we need to put signage out, and I can't imagine signs at a cemetery, but we need to do something to let people know. Just because you see that doesn't mean you're able to do it, because you're just the blind leading the blind. So I just think we need to address that.
the signs that are put out at the lots are probably 10 by 12 signs. They're red writing. And every time there is a violation, they get stuck out with stakes. Most of the time you find them in the dumpster. Again, that's a lot of the issue is not that they're not being addressed. I can tell you the ones that I put signs on 4 and 5 times, and finally I would just remove it. And we never throw it away. And the stuff that's out there, we never throw away. We stack next to you have a building in the back of Ridgeline.
Yeah.
If you'll go there and periodically and look, you'll find the coking there. You'll find stuff that's not supposed to be there on the back of that building towards the levee. In Fort Deneau, we do the same thing, and in both cemeteries in Harlem, we do the same thing there as well. But it comes back just as fast as you remove it, it comes back. And they just ignore it. The signs are ignored, I hate to tell you, but that's why we're having the issues we're having. You can put someone on staff full-time with your cemeteries, and they're gonna stay busy pulling stuff up and putting signs back.
Mr. Chair, it's not so much of the person that owns that piece of property. I'll use my family for example, it's 12. So every time somebody come home, they put something else out there.
Sure.
So if that one person bought the property, but everybody that comes home don't know the violations or the rules, so everybody comes out and put a set of flowers every time somebody come home, so, you know.
And again, just to go a little one step further, the silk flowers, they're beautiful and they last. Once they get to a condition where they're pulling apart, we do remove those. But once there goes coking around any of that property out there, we do not go in that property.
That's one of the biggest complaints I had is the plastic and silk flowers. And there's no limit on how many you can put on the grave. But some of them just pack every which way.
They are. Benches, it is everything. Benches, they're everywhere. But it's a tough battle. Like you said, loved ones, that's a tough one. For 18 years, like I said, I dealt with that. I've been called on Saturday and they didn't talk real nice and tell me to have a nice day. Or they found the sign on their lot, but most of them go on the weekends to visit. So it's an ongoing thing, and it's going to be a tough one. But before, we didn't have some of the teeth in here that we're going to have with this, and a lot of it was contractors having issues with. They set a headstone. The headstone's on someone else's property. It's crooked.
Yeah.
So that's what we're addressing now. And as far as the other stuff, I agree with you. Trust me, I don't know how many times I've had people tell me I'm going to call my commissioner. Great. Call them, please. They're going to tell you that what I'm telling you is exactly what they adopted in 1996. Absolutely, call them. But that's where staff's at, to be honest. When they call you, that's what staff needs. They need us to stand up behind them and say, look, that was policy set. This is policy we're adopting now. And we just need to make sure we're enforcing it behind staff so staff's not the ones getting chewed out for what we're doing.
Mr. Chair, do you have a motion?
Motion by Commissioner Harrison, second by Commissioner Byrd. This is a public hearing. Anyone like to speak to this before we move forward? Any further discussion on the board? If you want to speak, if you would come up.
Fill out the card.
Come on.
This is related. But that's a problem all over the country. And I did this
State your name for the record.
Raul Patel.
Thank you.
I did this genealogy trek a couple of years ago. Lots of cemeteries in 5 states. This country doesn't seem to take care of any cemeteries anywhere. It takes care of all the deeds, the properties that people own, but the bodies there are covered, are adorned with stones that are completely illegible anywhere. And really, it should be a decent requirement of families to take care of so we know who's there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ms. Valtier, a lot of the families in some of these cemeteries, there's no one left. We've run into that before where there's no one left to take care of the lots, and some of your older lots, Commissioner, with the copings on them, that's the problem in some of those. And now I can tell you the honors from students from schools, they would come out once a year, they'd spend 2 days out there cleaning, they'd scrub headstones, they'd pull weeds. So that there is folks, and there's a lot of volunteers. We have a gentleman that comes down once a year, and he redoes every one of the veterans. He'll go out, if they're a veteran in the cemetery, he cleans their headstones, he cleans the lots, and he comes down from Georgia once a year. So there is people in the public trying to help. We just have something that's getting out of control. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Parker, staff report.
For the record, Shane Parker, Hendry County Engineer. First, I have 2 items. One of them is the Hendry County Public Transportation Transit Program. I emailed you a staff report today. It's regarding a contract amendment with Transition Commute Solutions. Reason for the amendment is because the quantity of trips we estimated occur in the RFP was based on information from DOT, and those trips aren't occurring. We estimated 2,000, we're only having 500 trips a month. So to make the contractor whole, so he can provide a service, we're asking for a contract amendment. Kelly O'Man from my office, who manages programs, here to answer any questions, along with the vendor Transition Commute Solutions, if you have any questions for them.
Do you think those numbers are lower because the previous contractor was just manipulating the numbers, or just because of COVID? Because that's a big drop.
Well, I don't want to speak ill of Goodwill's, but we don't know what their numbers are. There's no
I'll
record.
gladly speak ill of Goodwill. And if this entity is associated with them in any way, shape, or form, and they're offended, so be it. But yeah, the numbers were funny as hell, to put it plainly. You know, and if a person got on at Hooker's Point and they stopped at the Big V, or which is now the La Bamba, then they took it and they multiplied it, and that was 2 people, right? And now if it goes from La Bamba to the Cuban market, then that was 2 times 2, that's 4 now. You know, and then when they go to Walmart, well, it was 4. But if somebody else get on, you had compounding interest laws that applied, and it was impressive. You know, and that's how you got to 3,000 people a month. And 100% of them loved the ride. Even though, in case you can tell, I'm a little bit heated, even though when you looked at a van or a giant bus, did you ever see more than 3 humans? Ever in existence, did you ever see more than 3 people, including the driver?
They can use smart cars and fill it up.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Parker.
The current vendor has nothing to do with Goodwill's. We have, there was bad records, and then with Transportation came on board, they were only providing emergency trips, so they weren't doing any advertising. So those trips were maybe 100 less.
I'm on that board also, and it was bad record keeping. It was exaggeration, but that's behind us now. So, but appreciate you, Kelly. But it was something to deal with.
Mr. Chair, Ms. Hunter. So I've talked to Ms. Davis about this a number of times. So we're at 500 trips a month right now, roughly, plus minus.
Yes.
But we're not really advertising right now.
No.
Correct?
Correct.
And we're gonna, correct me if I'm understanding what the write-up says, is that we're going to underwrite them with dollars and cents to make them whole, so they're not bleeding red, right?
Correct.
I don't want to take any of that money and not make, I want to leave them where they are. But what if the statistics don't show that we can talk to the Hendry County school system and guarantee that the people that are going to the Collegiate Academy or iTech, and maybe that's already occurring, I don't know. But we can't set up a designated bus route with any of these funding sources.
Well, they are going to do bus routes starting starting in May, they're gonna do LaBelle to Lewiston, Lewiston to Belle Glade, LaBelle to Immokalee, LaBelle to Moorhaven. They're gonna do routes.
That's
We're
gonna start in
gearing up.
May.
Right,
Okay.
so, but we're gearing up, but the problem is we don't have the trips today to take their estimate of their proposal to provide service was 2,000 trips a month. We're not even close.
Okay.
And we're not gonna get there right away based on the predictions, but
And then that makes me very happy to hear that. And are we gonna start advertising that? I mean, is it gonna be a blitz on WAFC, now the new station in LaBelle, all that stuff, I think it's 2 years old? I mean, we're rolling it out? And then the next thing I wanted to ask are we slated that we have to operate from 7 to 5, or, how does that work? Can we have the ability, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, it's gonna offend some people, but like, I could see where Sugar Festival, for example, if it were allowed to occur, or Swamp Cabbage were allowed to occur at the rate that it is. That's an easy way to create, and I'm not trying to create numbers, it would be a very valuable service for thousands of people that come into here, and they can park, and we're gonna have your service rolling around the county on this particular side. Is that a legality with these buses? Can we do that?
So I'll answer your first questions for the record. Kelly O'Man, Hendry County Engineering. The first question, yes, we have funding to pay for those types of services for the bus stops. I'm not gonna get into the weeds and
Yes, ma'am.
go over which funding sources, but yes,
Gotcha.
the answer is yes.
Okay.
Second part of your question, yes, we do have money for public service transportation. No qualifications, just straight public trips. We don't have to ask you where you're going, where you're coming from. You can get on at A, get off at B, or get on at A, C, D, just like other counties run transit.
Okay. Well, then I'm ready for y'all to bring a plan to us to start rolling that out, and I'm excited about us trying to bless that. I think about whenever we have the high school, that big tournament that came in, or let's just say Johnny Morris, we're able to twist his arm and get him to host one of those U.S. Opens, in Lewiston.
Not gonna happen.
You'd be shocked, but anyway, it would just be a huge boost to what you can do, I think. So, and when we can do that, we just need to have the ball ready to roll it out. So.
We're limited on the advertising under your guys' direction from the last joint board meeting, so we will look forward to bringing something to you at that meeting as well.
I'd like to clarify. I don't think that we were limiting advertising per se as far as word of mouth or getting on things. I wanted to make sure that we didn't spend not even thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars wrapping buses with something that, in my opinion, the jihad or stream or whatever it may be, it just isn't going to be something that we take off from an action standpoint. But if y'all think it ought to go, then let's revisit that and make it happen. So.
Understand.
Does anybody ever go to Immokalee?
We haven't started running that route yet. That's one of the routes we're going to start running on May the 1st. We're still collecting data as far as what was previously run. We're trying to get an idea. But right now it looks like we're going to be connecting to the Collier Area Transit route somewhere in Immokalee by iTech, I believe.
Because there's got to be a way to get the word to the young people.
I do know that it's transported to iTech, but then it kind of fell through, so. And it hurt the kids that registered for school, and then all of a sudden it stopped.
Didn't have no way to
They
get
didn't have a way to get there, so that's one of the things. How many buses do we have running now?
Right now we're running 4 buses. We have 5 operational buses. We have only very seldomly needed the 5th bus. We did have some issues with that 5th bus, but we have been since repaired it. And for the Bluebell route, which is the fixed route, we're going to be starting. We have right now 1 single bus. We're hoping to get the 2nd bus before we
So
start.
when the Bluebell starts?
May 1st.
Kelly, at the joint meeting, you had mentioned that you were taking calls personally on your cell phone day and night and weekend. Do you still do that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, she answered mine. I'm one of those people. So one other thing do we have a backup bus? Because, the situation me and you spoke of, is there a backup bus?
Right now we have the 5 operational buses, 1 potential backup bus. We still need to make a few repairs to that bus. But right now that 5th bus is considered the backup bus. We've had some air conditioning issues, which we've since repaired. We do not have a backup bus for the Bluebell route, so we are waiting one large bus, and then I believe it is 3 other smaller buses to provide backup service for the Blue
We
Belt.
have them before May.
I'm sorry?
We have them before May.
We're at the mercy of DOT at this point.
I know we had a lot of buses that we thought we were going to be in the county. but we found out
Most of
that-
them are being repaired at the moment, so we do have title transfers and everything received by the clerk's office, and we're just awaiting information as to when and where we can pick them up.
And they said, like,
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair, do you know the version of you in the Belglade, BOCC, South Bay area that works for Palm Beach County?
I personally do not. I have to ask the vendor with that. She has been in contact with Palm Beach Transit, I believe it's called, and she has a Palm Tran, yes, and she has communicated with them as to where their transfer station is. It's my understanding that previously that's where those trips were running, was just solely to that transfer station, and then they would get onto the Palm Tran.
I want to say Lake Harbor. I want to say it was Lake
I can find out that information.
I think it's, I could be wrong, but I think it's over by the Palm Beach State campus, but it may be Lake Harbor.
They bus picks up from Lake Harbor.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, so that's where the Clue Bell picks up
Right.
in Lake Harbor.
Right.
And
That's
so
where it was.
I would love for us to, I don't know if you want to be the lead on that or if you want me to be but to set up that conversation so that you can sit with that person, Ms. Davis, and we can, I don't think you and Ms. Berdini and Baker need to be in the conversation, but if y'all could at least fire an email off saying we'd love to have that conversation, because I know Commissioner McKinley has mentioned on multiple times that they want to, they want to help facilitate that. They have a ton of resources. If you're ever bored sometimes and you want to go to the Dunkin' Donuts, or it's right, I think they park right in front of the Howard Hill Foundation, but there's a ton of those Go Glades vans. It's amazing how many there are there. And I think that that's the resources that they would be willing to work with us on, especially if we could justify ridership. And I know that they're screaming for bodies in West Tech and Palm Beach State. So, and then the other thing I wanted to ask is, today, if you wake up, can you give us a little anecdote about you wake up in Blackhole, or you wake up in Monterey, or you wake up in Pioneer, and you want to go to work at the sugar mill, or you want to go to work at DJ Machinery off of Francisco. Do you have the ability to get someone there?
As of right now, we do not. We do not have the equipment to support those kinds of routes at this point. The fixed route that we're going to start will be centralized in the larger cities just because of the limitation on buses. I mean, we only have one bus at this point that we can run those 4 routes. Eventually, we would love, that's what me and Jennifer have discussed, is that's as we get more equipment on board, we will have those opportunities to run smaller circulars in those smaller cities and bring them to a main point, let's say a flagpole on, close to 27, and they'd be able to get on those larger buses, and that would be able to transfer them to the larger cities.
When you say larger cities, you mean close to LaBelle?
Lewiston, LaBelle, we have a lot of people running to Lehigh, Amontley, more.
I would just, not being critical of anything you're saying, but I would just like to point out, the Hookers Point proper, that's one of the largest population centers in all of the county. Harlem is right up there, and when you look at distance and per capita heads and beds, Harlem is the most densely populated, and neither one of those are in the city limits. And then Monterey, if it's not right there, it's going to be close. And then I can't imagine what Port LaBelle is, but I guarantee it's up there as well. So, trying to identify where those circles run, how that web extends out, I think we would be money ahead investing there.
Since we have limited data, historical data as to what they were running previously,
Yes, ma'am.
it's been very difficult for us to get that information. So as the service begins, we'll be able to really evaluate and hone in on where are people coming from, where are they going, maybe we're not reaching those people, so we'll have better data to bring back to you at a later date once we do start running that service.
It is our intention to have the fixed routes within, say, City of LaBelle, City of Lewiston, because that is the population center, but also have, to your point, a web to have some bus stops in some of the other outlying areas. So for LaBelle, we would have something over in North LaBelle. We have something in Blackhole, in Monterey, Hookers Point, Harlem, that would also come around and then bring them into, say, the City of Lewiston proper. So there would be multiple types of fixed routes.
Yeah.
So you have a circle, it's consistent, you know where the stops are, it stops A, B, C, D, E at a certain time. It
Yeah.
goes by 3 or 4 times a day, so if they get on, they know they can get back on at a certain time. And I think that's really important for it to be utilized.
Absolutely. If it's not consistent, I'm not gonna get on it.
And so with the marketing, we need to get some estimates of what those wraps might look like, because I do.
We haven't.
Okay, so, because I do think that if we got, and whatever it is, it doesn't have to be extreme, it doesn't have to be, it can be whatever you want it to be, but I think it needs to be something where people can identify and then they see it, and they see them rolling around, and it's gonna take a while because we've never had that, and I believe that is going to ultimately, be. And where is that going, and can I use that?
Is there any door-to-door, Kevin?
Yes, that, I wanted to add that too, as right now they don't realize that that's a service they. The funding that we have available today. The residents in Hendry Glades already meet based on poverty level.
Is there an app?
Rate issues, and we can go ahead and move forward with the startup costs.
I don't know what the story under the sun, and I can never qualify for a ride, so I don't know what.
Written, so I don't know why it changed, or those that's established initially. We are still following those.
Still with me? Okay, I'm gonna call y'all.
They had caller ID, by the way.
Why do you answer?
Yeah, the public, we need to get that out too. You said they're not aware of that. We
We
gotta
have
get
been
it out.
issuing some one single printed flyer that we've been. Number, the call center.
I'm sorry, didn't I?
MV Transportation, which was the emergency provider. Their trips that they were running were just, there was no advertising, no outreach. It was
Seeing that one of the problems that we did have, they would run out of funds before. That, and I just want to make sure we don't move too fast and have that same problem.
so right now. CARES funds, 2 separate grants to cover CARES funds. Have 3 more program dollars that started July 1, 2020.
But they ran out of money, so I know.
It's all based on.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Turner. Thank you, Ms. O'Neill. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Went out to you yesterday, revised final change order number 1 and final with Rock.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any further discussion? Ms. Griffin, we kept you waiting on
Thank you.
To represent the Harlem Academy Alumni Association and come to clarify some issues that have come up concerning in two stages, which number one would be virtual. I'm sure. And at another stage, because so many people have been complaining about being sort of let down outside of the house. And so we propose to pass out educational materials concerning the virus. We have in Harlem a lot of and one of the things I would like to do, well, I lost my brother in December. And I took masks to him and I said, you better wear them. And he said, I'm not going to wear them. Do is put a picture of him out on the field. Your friends, and he died from the virus. In addition to that, I would like to pass out education.
Discussion.
And if you know, and getting permits or whatever we need to do, we're going to do it at a very, very to help with masks or sanitizer or whatever, because we want to pass out. We want to do the CDC thing also. Swamp cabbage, and it seemed to work pretty good. Educational part. Our people need to know that this thing is serious, and where they doubt the go out, ask them to do it also in Harlem. Because of the Tuskegee, my brother is I almost said a living witness, but he died. And I want to put them in the casket so they could see this thing is for real. We can't play with it.
So, Mr. Chair, do you know what y'all had to do in years past to been associated with the Brown Sugar Festival for a number of years?
Yes, sir. I'm the founder. I founded it 40 years ago. It's 42 years.
What are you trying to say?
I've been on the planet longer than you know how many track practices and spring football because of that festival.
Yes.
But I also know that there's not an ounce of food in the town.
Right.
It's one of the biggest impacting local festivals, in my opinion, that we have. I think it actually has a and it's so fun to go and all gonna have your first off, and let me also say I'm a huge supporter. I'm tired of being in my house. Vaccine, but I'm going to. Obviously not an African. Does have an effect, but there's a ton of people that are scared about this. When Palm Beach, I personally called about 25 seniors that night. We're not going to go get the vaccination, and as you can imagine, my constituents, I don't have a huge that were seniors, and they said I'm good. I want to wait. Department to saddle up with you all,
Yes.
and make that occur. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think getting masks and other items of PPE, whether it's hand, it's small, you know. Ms. Patrick, when are we going to get back? I mean, I don't want to limit it, and maybe I sound ignorant right now, but community like it always is, right?
Yes.
I mean, why are we going to put a cap on it? What are
Where you going? You saying?
I'm saying, how many people came for Swamp Cabbage? It was thousands. Obviously, we cut the parade out.
Yeah.
And then, you know, things are happening, I guess is what I'm saying. There's
Listen, to produce a brown sugar festival the way we've been producing it. But we're just preparing for,
yes, ma'am.
you know, not the thousands that
Yes, ma'am.
we've been getting. Love you.
I love going out to Brown Sugar. It is literally like a family reunion every year when we have that thing. And people that I haven't seen for let us know what we can do. Let's make it happen.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll pick back up on that.
So right now, for the Brown Sugar Festival, to your question about permits, so that is a discussion for the board, if that's, you know, where we are, if that's where you want to go. Because to her point, it's kind of late, and for special. And I do know that they lean on other agencies as well. So she's talking that it would be small, and with them, and I don't know if Mr. Nelson, I'll summarize what to some other agencies and see if they're able to get the appropriate